Okay, let's see how you've done on these pages. Hopefully talking to your neighbor helped you figure out some of the questions that you may have had. Maybe you were able to put your two heads together and come up with some better solutions. So let's just see how you've done. All right, question 1. We have Fabiola. I wish him lots of luck with his name. That's a challenging one. Fabiola's basketball team practices 4.25 hours each week. Let's think about that realistically before we even start. 4.25. 0.25 is a quarter. So 4 3/4 hours each week. So that's basically a little over an hour, maybe 4 times a week. Okay? Use common sense first. The basketball season is 14 weeks long. So this is 1 week. So they're going to do that 14 times. Okay, do we see what's happening here? Okay, how much time does Fabiola spend in practice during the entire season? So that's 4.25 plus 4.25 plus 4.25 plus 4.25, 14 times, repeated addition. Or in other words, 4.25 times 14. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 more is 10. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 1 is 17. Done with that. My 0 down. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 4 is 4. Add those up. And remember, this decimal point in a whole number, 14 wholes, is already over on the far right. But these two, we need to count. 1, 2. So in this problem, we go back. 1, 2. So what this tells me is in the season, he practices 59 hours and 50 minutes. Okay? All right, number 2. The model represents the expression 7/10 times 3/10. Choose the product. All right, so we've got 7/10 times 3/10. So what I see here is 3/10. Oh, let me make that a little bit wider. Colors in nicely. 1, 2, 3/10, which is really not 3/10 because this is 7/10. Hold on, let me show you. This is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns. Realistically, if this were actually 3/10, we would need to, it would go down here this many times, but those would not be shaded. So this model shows just the shaded part of 3/10 and 7/10. So I see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You better know how many this is going to be. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. How did we know that? Well, because 3 times 7 is 21. So that means there are 21 hundredths shaded, because remember, these are each hundredths on a big hundredths chart where there's 10 across, 10 down. This right here, this picture, shows 21 of those shaded. So the answer is A, 21 hundredths. Val chose C as the correct answer. How did she get C? Oh, I hate when they ask these questions. Well, let's see. How C? Oh, maybe they were thinking that 3/10 means that if they were shaded 3/10, this would be shaded all the way down. But because 3/10 is times 7/10, not the entire tenth, maybe that's why she thought it would be 30 hundredths, because it would be all the way down, all 10 of them. But remember, not all 10 of them are shaded, only 7 of those tenths. So here's the rest, okay? So I think she got that answer because, or he, Val thought the entire 3/10 was shaded. But when you multiply times 7/10, you only shade 7 out of 10, not the whole thing. That's why this part down here is not shaded by both. Okay? All right, next, find the product of 6/10 times 6/10. Well, let's think about this, boys and girls. First of all, we know that it's going to be 6 times 6, right? Okay, 6 times 6 is 36. But we're doing 6/10 times 6/10. So we're making 6 groups, we're making 6/10 groups of 6/10, okay? So what we're actually going to have is 6/10. Let's think of these like those rods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is how many tenths we have. Again, we don't want to walk around with all of those in our pocket. But what we can do is take these 6 right here, add 1, 2, 3, 4 more to it, and what can we trade that out for? And then what's left? Interesting. Something to be thinking about. Now, how does that correlate? If we do old school, we have 6/10 times 6/10. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 0 is 0. Plus 3 is 3. Done with that. 0 times 6 is 0, and 0 times 0 is 0. Now look, 1, 2, 1, 2. 36 hundredths. If I would have taken all those 6/10 that I just drew and cut them up, this is how many hundredths I could possibly end up with. 36 hundredths. Think about the shading pages that we did yesterday. All right. Number 4. 1 pound of red grapes costs $2.42. Wow, we just talked about grapes the other day, so let's just picture 1 pound of grapes. Ella buys, Ella buys what? What is that? A half pound. Oh, so this time we're not making a bunch of 242s. 242s, she didn't buy a bunch of pounds. She didn't even want the whole pound. She only wanted half. Remember, 0.5 is the same as 5/10. 5/10 is the same as 1/2. So she only wanted a half of that pound of grapes. How much does she spend on red grapes? So she didn't want, look at this, will the product be greater or less than $2.42? It's going to be less because she doesn't want the whole pound. She only wants to have half of that. You guys, without even dividing, you're gonna divide. Let's take a look at this as individual place value numbers, because we're doing dividing decimals next week. What if we take that $2 and cut it in half? What will we have? 1. What if we take the 40 cents and cut it in half? What will we have? 20 cents? 2. What if we take this 2 pennies and cut it in half? What will we have? 1. Oh, so wait a minute. If I do $1.21 for a half a pound, if I do that twice, will that come up to the same amount I need for a whole pound? Sure does. So a half a pound is $1.21. Okay? And number 5. Terry lives 9/10 kilometers from school. Oh, let me think about this for a minute. His house, school, 9/10. All right. He walks back and forth to school each day. So each day he leaves his house, he goes to school, and then after school he comes home. Okay, so that would be 9/10 plus another 9/10. So each day if he goes to school and home, that's 2 of those, right? What's 9/10 plus 9/10? 1.8. Okay, just something to know that each day he would walk 1.8 miles. Okay, or kilometers, I'm sorry, I'm saying miles. How many kilometers does he walk to and from school each week? Oh, thank goodness I figured out how much he walks in one day. Thank goodness. Now, how many days in a week is Terry in school? Not 7. You're not in school 7 days. I bet he isn't either. But in one day, he goes 0.9 to school and 0.9 home. So when you add those up in one day, he goes 1.8 kilometers. Now, if he's going to do that 5 days a week, that's 1.8 plus 1.8 plus 1.8 plus 1.8 plus 1.8, or 1.8 times 5. Now remember, 5 is a whole number, so that decimal's already hiding over there. 5 times 8 is 40. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4 is 9. Bring that guy over 1, so bring this guy that's hidden back 1. So he walks 9 kilometers in a week. Okay? Hope you did okay on that. On Monday, we're going to do the same. You're going to be doing the independent practice and have a video. On Tuesday, you will have a quiz. See you guys later.